Welcome back to Primed for Battle. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Freeguild Cavalier Marshal from the Cities of Sigmar range in my custom burgundy and white colour scheme. You can see the paints that I've used for this miniature on the screen in front of you right now, and this model was quite fun. Really enjoy the new Cities of Sigmar range, and this is one of the best of that range, so let's jump in. To start with, I've used Sigvold Burgundy on the cape and also on other parts of the clothing, and also the flag on the horse, or the banner, I guess. And then I'm going on to use Gorgrunter fur for the skin on the horse, or the fur I guess you'd call it. We'll get all under the belly and the legs and give it a nice generous coating of that Gorgrunter. And then we're going to use some Sigmar brown just to build a base colour on that stonework on the base that the horse is standing on. So again, just generously cover all of those stones and dirt and even the branches. And then from there I've used Black Legion to lay a base down for the metallic areas. Also the hooves, on the pants for the rider, and the sword, etc. Anywhere that's metallic especially. Next I've used some wildwood just for any areas that are timber or wooden, which is predominantly the seat on the saddle, but also the handle of the pistol, and a few other small areas. And I'm using some Agros dunes for the horse's mane and its tail. A nice light brown look for the horse there. And now I'm going to start working on the leather. So to start with, for all of the leather straps, I've used snakebite leather. And again, I apply this fairly generously to build up a bit of pooling, which adds to the fairly easy leather effect. Not the best leather effect, but it's an easy. And then from there, I've gone on to Garagax Sewer for the pouches, which is a darker brown than the snakebite, but complements the snakebite well for a leatherish kind of look. And then I'm using some Flesh Tearers Red for the cushioning on the saddle. Not sure why, but I always like to use nice reds for cushions or padding on seats. From there, we've used some Creed Camo for the bedroll on the back of the horse. At least I'm assuming it's a bedroll. Now I'm going to use some Wraithbone. What I'm doing is I've taken most of the paint off the brush to give it sort of a heavy or a wet dry brush kind of. So I'm just flicking it backwards and forwards at the bottom of the horse's legs, just to, no, they call it the horse's socks or something, but just to build up that creamy bone colour that will look nice against the foreground of fur of the rest of the horse's fur. And now I'm going through and doing all the steel coloured metallics, and I've chosen Ironbreaker for this one. So I'll get the hammer, the pistol, all the buckles, the banner pole, the sword, any of the chainmail, any of the metallics that we're not leaving as white for the armor. Now I'm just going to do a fairly quick method for the face. And what I used is some Fireslayer flesh on this one, and just coat that whole face in that without letting it pool too much, but enough to leave some in the recesses. Now I'm going to do some Apothecary White over all of the armor plating. That's the chest plate, the shoulder, the thigh plates, the greaves, I guess, on the legs. I think they're greaves, the helmet, and also some of the plating on the horse. And now I'm coming back to the face, now that the Fireslayer flesh is dried, and I'm using some Caribou Crimson. I'm just placing that in the creases around the eyes, around the lips themselves, and it just sort of adds a bit of flushed colour to some areas of the skin. Now I'm going to quickly do the base, and so I've started with a dry brush layer of Doombull Brown over the entirety of the base, and then from there I've gone into Tau Light Ochre over the top of that. Then I've done Administratum Grey over the top of all of the previous layers, and this builds up a nice bit of colour variation in the stones. Finally, I'm doing a dry brush of Borax White over the stones. This is the last of the dry brushing layers. Now I'm going to use some Coelia Green Shade. I'm going to use that in all of the recesses of the stones to give it a kind of mouldy, kind of earthy effect. And then I'm using some Cassandora Yellow. I'm using this over the top selectively of some of the stones just to give them some staining and weathering. Now I'm applying some Agros Dunes again, and I'm using this over the top of the branches. So the branches got all of the dry brush layers the rest of the base does, and then Agros Dunes will bring them back to that sort of wooden colour. And then finally, I'm applying Agrax Earthshade over the top of the entire of the base, just to bring it all together. I'm just quickly using some Balthazar gold, on the sword hilt. And then just a small amount of Fleshed Terror's Bread on that gem set in the handle of the sword. Now I'm just touching up a few areas with Skeleton Horde. There's a little skull hidden under some of the stone there. And I'm also going over the horse's eye of the skeleton horde. I've sort of looked up and horses have these sort of brownish eyes sometimes. And then finally, I'm coating the entirety of the model pretty much in Nuln oil. And this will add a bunch of shading and bring out some of the highlights and things as well. And there we have it. I finished Freeguild Marshal. It's a fairly brisk colour scheme. You can get that done fairly quickly, and I think it looks fairly good. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, if you could like and subscribe, it really helps me out. And otherwise, I look forward to seeing you next time on the channel. Bye for now.